Don, are you able to give a sort of a list of sites that the Society has issues with, where badgers might be present or have been present, and there are issues with the site and the way it's been managed and carried out, the development or the application? Is there a summary of sites in the area that you could give me?
Well, if we start with Wartling Close, I think that's a good start. Many years ago, probably 25 years ago, the site was absolutely bulldozed, and Rectory Wood, which is on the north side of the site, and the garden for 20 Wartling Close, had an enormous badger set, one of the biggest badger sets in, because Rectory Wood is part of Church in the Wood Nature Reserve.
Right.
Right? So the problem has sort of hung around since the top, there was a block of houses built, and it was going to happen that the land at the back, because of the badgers and other wildlife, was going to be given to the council. Well, that's never taken place. What we've got recently is a developer come along. He's been allowed eventually to build 9 houses. Natural England gave him a licence to put a fence line straight through the middle of the badger set, which was on the north side of the site. They've destroyed everything in the site that was badger set, and they said there's no badgers. When the police went there, they said there's no badger set there at all. And yet they'd got a licence to go down through the middle only just previously. Right?
Oh, how incredible!
How
incredible!
Things go. Yes, there was an evacuation. I think that's probably the right word, of a load of slow worms. A lady found them under her dustbin. When she shifted the dustbin, of course, they all managed to go down cracks in the pavement there. We called the police. The police came. No, they've only just had an accident. No, they're going to build anyway, Mr. Wise, and they went off. Now that is what's happening everywhere. The wildlife is being completely pushed out. Now the council have accepted a very fine strip that is no use to the developer round the site as a compensation for destroying the rest of the site for wildlife. Right? Now that's there. Another example is 126 Harold Road, where there were 15 badgers, we know that as a fact, living in 3 sets on that site.
Is this Shore Valley View?
Sorry?
Is this the Shore Valley View development? Up
126 Harold Road. It's down the bottom end, by Girth Road.
Thanks.
That's the one where it is.
Okay.
Now what has happened there is, as I said earlier, the surveyor said that the badger set was more than 30 metres away from the development area, so they wouldn't need a licence, because they wanted to carry on work through the breeding season, you see, and if they'd got a licence they wouldn't have been able to do it. So that's how one of the dodges. There's a list of dodges what developers are using to get round.
We'll get onto that later. That sounds fascinating.
Yeah. I see. Right. Well, anyway, there, Mr. Cookson discharged all the wildlife conditions, and the developer has used the whole of the site for development purposes. And now there is controversy because badgers keep trying, because the Bourne Stream is at the east side of the site, you see. Right. And the wildlife, badgers in particular, need from the local area to get to fresh water. And the argument now is all they've left is a little tiny 12-inch hole in one tiny area of the fence for wildlife to get access the local wildlife, that is, access to the water supply. Now I've asked that it should be altered, because we keep getting badgers being killed on Harold Road because they keep having to try and get to the Bourne stream to get water there, which was their natural
I've come across
place during
yeah.
drought conditions
Yeah.
to get fresh water, and originally they had the whole site to forage through. Now there's nothing, and now that was illegal because they're supposed to provide foraging on site, the people who own a site with wildlife resident. Cookson discharged all the conditions. Mr. Cookson overstepped his authority.
Is he not allowed to do that then?
Well, we found out he's not allowed to do it now,
Right.
just recently, because I've been down to the council and got a copy of the constitution which shows that on there that he has the authority to deal with planning applications and all that, but under certain situations he can't, and that is if there's been 3 letters of objection, a petition, and it goes on like that. And there's certainly on most of the different sites these days there's more than 3 letters of petition and so forth, so he forfeits his right to be an authority to do anything, and it has to go before full council and all sorts of things.
He's head of planning, isn't he? Is that
Yes,
right?
he's the head of planning. But we've only just found these things out, unfortunately. So there is quite a lot.
A Shore Valley View,
Yes,
isn't
and
there?
Hawthorn Road is another one where he's overstepped his authority.
What, Cookson got involved in that, didn't
Sorry?
he? Who did the head of planning get involved with that then? Really? I didn't know that.
Yes,
I know that.
well, he's a finer bloke to put a stamp on anything.
I heard that the surveyor missed 6 badger sets that were on the site
You're
because
talking about Hawthorn Road.
yeah.
Well, you see, the surveyor at Hawthorn Road, Mr. Peter Mortimer, said, they only asked me to look on an ordnance survey number so-and-so, but the ordnance survey number I believe he gave to people covered the whole plot anyway.
So what
you need about an eight figure.
I heard that he was told just to survey the footprint of the building, and he was just doing what he was told.
The footprint of the building, they've built it on another footprint altogether than the footprint he surveyed, and the footprint that the buildings, the 10 townhouses, 4-storey high, are built on. As far as I've asked Mrs. Karen Phillips, I said I'd like to come down to the council chamber, to Aquila House, and look at the plan for myself. She said it doesn't exist. That's what I was told. It doesn't exist. There's no plan of where the building is, or buildings, or whatever you like to call it, has been built. It's on an illegal footprint. The extant footprint from 1976 is about 10 to 20 metres further east, and just before that is where they destroyed the badger sets. Now they put what do you call it, a decking platform out from the houses east over where the sets were. Now the point is, as they put decking there, badgers normally go back to old badger sets and reopen them, and that's what they would do 2-5 years down. They go under the decking, and of course it's going to cause mayhem again. It's going to happen anyway, because there's so many badgers up there.
I'll come back to that in a minute. I've heard some awful things about that site. Thanks very much.